cannot get a man from a man. You cannot get a woman from a man, but you can get a man from a woman, and you can get a woman from a woman, and think about that. Any problem with that statement, that compound complex sentence? I don't have one.
It's time to let this bitch die, you know, so Mother Earth can rise to her sacredness, you see. But if we do that, they lose their control. They lose their power. Our rise is their demise. So they're doing everything ritualistic to symbolize, you know, stopping this apocalypse. It says the earth is in the final throes of regenerative transformation, okay? It's a process where the earth comes in conformity with the laws of the universe, which are the laws of righteousness. Mother Earth, from our physical perspective, is actually daughter Earth in the universal scheme of things, and is in the alchemical process of becoming a sacred planet. As our mother, we are the individual physical manifestation of this process of physical transformation into spiritual beings. Mother Earth is the planetary demonstration of a universal process. To become sacred, she must become full and whole, demonstrating the laws of righteousness as exhibited by qualities of each of the signs of the zodiac.
I'm just getting ready to do this for you, so I got you. Of what Nipsey Hussle says. He says that this self-hatred things go so much that what happens is you will go outside of what you consider to be your circle. Do you guys remember when Nipsey was talking about that? You will go outside your circle and you will find someone who looks like you, acts like you, but is somehow just opposite to you. And that's the one that you say, there he go right there. Let's get him. Let's kill him. Let's get that one. And I thought, wow, that's pretty deep, Nip. That's pretty deep. And sometimes I think when we look at each other collectively as people, we seek to persecute. But we do it in such an asinine way. We do it, as P. Diddy say, in such a bitch-ass way. If you really want to help the sister, maybe it's something she doesn't know that obviously you know. That you know better. Why don't you gather a bunch of women together? And why don't you share the light instead of trying to tear someone down or to do these things? Why would you waste all this energy in that space when there's so many people who could use your true wisdom? See, that's where the real power is. When we want to talk about black people that we've been brainwashed, we've been brainwashed to learn how to hate each other more than we hate anything else on this planet. We've been taught to give hate to each other more than we give to anything else on this planet. We will stand up and kill each other with our words, with our thoughts, with guns, with violence, in any kind of way that we can do it against each other and hide behind anything. Everyone serves to pull a role here on earth, and it is all good. It all comes from good, and it is all good. And if we could focus as much energy as we focus in on hating people, on really getting to know ourselves. See, that's the work of the priestess. Then we could move forward collectively. Instead of trying to hate something you have no idea what you're hating. You are hating a reflection of yourself.
You are out of pocket. That's the main idea.
See, because that's real self-love. Self-love ain't going to get a manicure. Self-love ain't taking a damn nap. Self-love is not getting some feel-good. Self-love is not listening to some music. Self-love is not even going on vacation. It can be a part of the fluff of self-love. But self-love is what kind of conversation are you having with you? When the lights are out, when you're laying in the bed by yourself, or you're in your thoughts with you, what does that look like? That's self-love. You can't go buy self-love at Victoria's Secrets. You can't even get self-love at the holistic shop. There is no herb. There is no remedy. There is no rub. There is no man. There is no woman that can give you self-love. That's why so many people are on such a quest. And the mystery has baffled society forever. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and unbaffle you. Self-love is the conversation you're having with yourself. And whenever that conversation starts sounding like you can never make shit work, you're not pretty enough, you know you'll never be able to do it, you know you sabotage everything that you do. That's what you're projecting out into the world. And that's ultimately, I don't care how pretty it's dressed up, I don't care how well suited it comes, I don't care how intellectually stimulating it looks, that is the only thing that you are attracting back. That conversation you are having on the inside. And how do I know? You look at the people who are no longer in your life. They all have said shit to you that you've already said to yourself.
Hot damn.
And you done let them go because of what they said or did to you. But the truth is, you've been abandoning, abusing, cheating, mentally, physically abusing yourself for years. But you mad that someone else is treating you like you treat yourself.
The black woman is the archetype of the universe. There's nothing beyond the black woman. That's why you catch in hell. If anybody who got a soul, it is the black woman. You know what I'm saying?
The main thing is people don't know anything about their nationality or birthrights, or that they are a Moor. Or, well, let's start with what is a Moor. You know, that would be the first thing. It's like, what is a Moor? What is, you know, like they'll say all this stuff about more. I mean, it is the manifestation of the being into the flesh, the being who travels upon the waters of the earth, but first beginning in the waters of their mother's womb. See, when you look up the word more, it just doesn't mean a noun. It's actually an action. So it means that since man is mind and we're all spirit, and then we come into the flesh, so we travel upon the 7 stages of development in the waters of the mother's womb. That's mooring. Right, and then when we're done, we get cut from the navel, which is navigating L, and then we become navigating L's upon the earth plane. So you start there. So if that was understood and accepted, there would really be no problem, because people say, well, I don't have to be anything to be whatever. Well, I just explained to you what that is. It means that if you came to the womb, then you were mooring, and you were mooring through the 7 stages of the waters and the 7 stages of development in your mother's womb. And then you didn't have to be called anything, because that's just what it is. So those who actually call themselves Moors are actually saying, I'm not anything except that I am. That's really what's being said. So that's the first misunderstanding. When people say, I'm not down with the Moors, what are the Moors doing? Well, they need to look at themselves and say, what are you doing? Because you're a Moor, whether you recognize it or not. Again, just giving the explanation of what that is. And that's part of our problem. That part of our problem is the miseducation. We have been lied to.
And your bodies are then designed to operate within the principles of the earth plane, within the environmental laws of the earth plane. So you are designed to operate within it in that manner. Your vehicle, your vessel, you are in your vehicles, you are in your bodies. Now we have to really begin to stretch our minds on this. It's okay. We really need to stretch our minds on this. You are not your body. You are something much greater than your physical body. And I hear people say that, but you don't live that. Your body lives and has been operating on what I call autopilot, which means it just operates. So all you do is operate based on programs. That's why you do everything so routinely. You have to begin to engage that aspect of you that's looking out through your eyes. There is something greater in there that is looking out through your eyes. Go look in the mirror. Try staring at your own eyes in the mirror. It's a little spooky because you're going to feel something looking back at you. That's you. That's hoping that you wake up. And when you wake up to that, guess what? That's when intuition gets sharper. That's when you start to hear and engage that aspect of yourself that's going to tell you where to be, because there's going to be an earthquake. It's going to tell you what you need to do, when you need to do it, but you're not listening. You don't listen to that. You let your body run the show. Your body's used to running the show because its job is to keep you alive. Its job, like a ship, is to survive. That's what it knows. That's all it knows is survival. And it hopes that someday it doesn't have to work that hard, that you will wake up and you will start listening to that other part so it can go, whew, okay, I don't have to do that much work anyhow. Now you're back in the driver's seat. So that's why we get run by fear. And the body is working overtime because your heart's beating fast. You live in the survival mode. we get heart problems, we get all of this stuff going on, and the body's busy trying to balance everything out. So we have become a society, believe it or not, even though we talk about fear, we're addicted to it. We are absolutely addicted to fear, and the system knows that. So it uses the 6 o'clock news
So we have to begin to be proactive about those things, both physically and spiritually, that we want to do. Being reactive is too much of a state where we live. We've got to come out of that. We really do. If you want to know those changes, if you want to be that change, you have to first be it for yourself. Don't look to your sister or your brother. It's good that we're studying these books. We need to continue to study these books. But there comes a point, everyone, where that knowledge can only take you so far. And you have to rely on those things that was given to us by the divine oneness of whatever you choose to call that oneness. And you have to use that intuition within you when you're dealing with your brothers and sisters, when you're dealing with situations that's happening around the world, and when you're dealing with this knowledge and this information. If you do not, then what will happen is that you will be subject to only be able to see it from one polarity, and that is here at the lowest form, and that is in the human state of mind. Now, I'm not saying that I don't weep at night for these children and for these women and for these men, our brothers and sisters, and for their spirit to ascend them to a higher place. But then there is a time that we must have that other conversation, and this is the conversation that we're having now. This is the conversation that you all should be having. When you begin to think about things going on in your own life and how terrible they can be, this is the time that you look at the human level and you see the suffering of our people, not only in Haiti, where they were suffering for so long, you understand, but from many different places. I see some of you want to know what Brother Bobby Hemmett thinks. Well, I spoke to Brother Bobby Hemmett, and a lot of the things that we're discussing here tonight, he agreed. And this is also, he had his own revelation about what is going on. I guess my question is to my brothers and sisters who think this way, because it's not all of you, who thinks that the white man or the powers that be still have control of you. Then what are you doing all of this studying and work for? What are you doing it for? You have to see things holistically. You have to go to the spiritual realm. It is just necessary in these times. We're moving in these times. Everyone has told us that. Sister Myra, Brother Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine. Gosh, I could go on and on with the names. Brother Panic. Everyone has tried to move us to that point, and we're trying to move ourselves to that point where we can become spiritual. When I can feel the energy from my brothers and sisters coming through the computer, when I'm speaking to you on the phone, my intuition can tell me your true thoughts. This is the place that we all have got to get ourselves. If you want to make a difference, the difference is going to have to come in a different way. It's not going to come by sending $100, and as we can see from my brother Wycliffe, it's not even going to come from sending millions. It is going to come for you connecting with that intuition, that spirituality that resides within both of us, male and female. All of this Kundalini practice that we've been doing, this energy that we want to rise, well, the energy is rising. Are you rising with it? Are you rising with that energy? Because that energy is going to take you to a place that your heart and the pain of this human life cannot supersede. You understand? It cannot take you there. So that's the kind of questions we want to give to Sister Myra, who's able to, and just like all of us, to make that connection with Mama, as she calls it. Some of you call it the divine, some of you call it God, some of you call it Buddha, Allah, whatever you call it. Right. Whatever you call it, this is the time to connect. Yeah. This is it. We've been waiting for it. Michael Jackson told us about it. He left it here for us to remember. Understand that energy is energy. Yes. There is a point where energy supersedes things like black and white and Buddha and Allah and God and Jesus, there is a point that energy rises above that.
Yes. Yes.
You have to come out of the intellect, and you have to go into that place that resides within. If you cannot go there, then find a way to get there.
So we are sort of wired into this particular version of reality, and I do see that there is that part of us that has the opportunity to be authentic and independent, and go rogue, you know, and basically unhook. But the system does not encourage or support that. Otherwise, the game would collapse. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of those who think that they're in control anyway. And I'm just talking on this minuscule level of reality, meaning right down here. I'm not talking outside of the space right now. But there are those people who say in upper levels, you know, secret society, or those who consider themselves the elite, or those who are sort of overlooking or overseeing this human beings and the laws that will be put in place and how to control human beings and so on, and who we consider to be the extremely wealthy. In order to make that exist, for those people to continue to be what they are, you can't have all these people waking up. Then everybody would basically, it would be a playing field, and everything is really fair game. You have to keep it on balance. You have to keep, to the best of your ability, most people in a dumbed down state, and in order for 5 people to control billions.
I'm saying, based on my scholarship, there's nothing but the divine feminine. Now you gotta deal with the shit, cuz, goddammit. I ain't going by opinion. I'm gonna put the shit in your ass with the damn scholarship. We're not talking no gender thing here. You see what I'm saying? This is some advancement. The brothers of Sirius are women. Even Valentine said that the soul was feminine. That the Kundalini was feminine. Okay? He said the spirit was masculine. Well, the spirit is nothing but the astral nature. Everything has a goddamn spirit. A roach got a spirit. A rat got a spirit. The spirit is what just moves and animates the body. That's just the spirit. The spirit is masculine. That's the matrix. That's the illusion. It don't exist. The soul is the only thing that exists, and the soul is the divine feminine. And don't worry, because we're going to go into this shit in scholarship tonight. This primordial great mother in this zodiac of Dendera does not have a masculine consort. This is the oldest representation of the divine feminine in the world. So this automatically knocks the damn argument out the ballpark. It's got to be a duality. Bullshit. Find something. This is the zodiac of Dendera is the oldest concept known. Now challenge me right now with the shit. But I'm coming with fucking evidence. And come out how the fuck I feel. I'll back shit up. There is nothing but the goddamn feminine. That's all. You know the motherfucking crackers wrote a book. These crackers went and took the cells of the males and all of the tissues of the male, and they found out that the entire body of the male is made out of the same material that is in the vaginal walls of the woman. The cells and all that shit is nothing but the same damn material that's in the vaginal walls. See what I'm saying? Now we all know based on science that if there's a damn duality, then why the fuck did the goddamn dick don't appear until the last couple of months of the fetus? And if you ever really looked at a clitoris If you shave all the hair from off the shit, and look, that motherfucker got a long shit like a dick and a head on that shit. The primordial great mother, there is no consort. In the book of the law, they say, had it, which is the primordial black dot, is the manifestation of Nu. It didn't say that it was her equal, her spouse, her consort. It says that it is the manifestation of Nu. Had it is the soul, and it is the manifestation of Nu, which is the great mother. There is no fucking damn masculine. What you call masculine is only the aggressive part of the divine feminine. All that fuck it is. You got to study this shit, because all you got to do is to go and look at the primal mythology. There is no such thing as the masculine. It is only the aggressive or the active part of the divine feminine. There's the positive, negative, AC/DC, yin yang. There's the positive part, and all of the goddesses prior to the male cults, all of the particular goddesses did the same attributes that the males did later on. If you see a beehive or a honeycomb, which is the same melanin molecule, why is the whole thing centrally located around the queen bee? And the bees is also sacred to Osiris in other mythology. So there was a mythology about the great mother that was overthrown in heaven, and they killed her, and these male entities used her body to make the earth, to make the universe, and to make humans out of. So if they use her body to make humans out of, based on the mythology, then there's only one type of species, woman. That's it. There's a great mystery on trying to understand the black woman, and guess what that mystery is? She is not to be understood. She's chaos. I'm giving you the magical secret to this shit. Now, in the mythology of Shiva, which Shiva is the same Osiris or Horus, they said Shiva, then you have Shakti power, which is the feminine energy. They say, but to the Shakti power, without the Shakti power, Shiva is only a corpse. You got a 40,000-year-old or a million-year-old soul trapped in a goddamn 20-year-old body. You got to be fucking neurotic. That's what the dark goddess is. The dark goddess is, you ain't supposed to figure her out. She is chaos. She represents something from the other dimension. And them mood swings is that particular part that's from the other dimension. They say it's about what? They say that the whole shit, the whole Kabbalah, is based on the return of the Shekinah, the feminine energy. This is the Kabbalistic text. Gershom Scholem, which is the chief authority on Kabbalistic out of Tel Aviv, died in 1982. They say, well, what's all this Kabbalistic and this Kabbalah stuff? What does it all mean? What's going to happen? He said, ultimately, all this shit is going to turn back into chaos. And chaos is the realm of the great mother. Chaos rules. Chaos is supreme. You see? For that dumb shit. Telling that the black woman got to do some shit. She ain't got to do shit. She ain't going to do shit. It's because she don't have to do shit. Why? They say because she is a state of being.
See, the twin gateway represents Gemini. You know, yeah, the duality, illusion versus reality. But we have to understand that reality is spiritual. Physical is the illusion, okay? The physical is the illusion. All we are vessels of the spirit. Reflection of the spirit. That's the illusion, okay? They don't want the illusion to be, you know, exposed, see? Okay? So we make a sacrifice. In other words, we're not expecting to be, you know, the restitution from the spirit on a personal level, but we're asking the spirit to change the system that made this occur to us on a physical level. And what we have to start doing now is investing in the whole, and then let it have personal repercussions, okay? So we think, okay, it's not working because it hasn't made it right in my personal life. So I'm not really demonstrating my power. But what it's going to do is identify the system that caused that, and that's where the change is going to occur, okay? But we have the power to activate. We are supposed to be the ones bringing on the apocalypse. Because every time one of us gets righteously indignant, this is what identifies to the universe where to go in and make that correction at. So we are supposed to be the ones, when we get righteously, if enough of us got upset about some horrendous thing happening in Houston, Texas, then next thing you know, we see a flood, a tornado. Why do you think that happened? We activated that energy to do that, okay? Our power works through nature. It works through the elements. It works through the water, the fire, the earth, and the air. That's our energy that can activate these things to happen when we identify the unrighteousness of what is occurring, you see. Stop propping this up. We're propping up the illusion. We're keeping ourselves in oppression, because as soon as we break the material bondage that liberates us, you see, a lot of us are afraid to make that step because we're still hanging on to the limitations that the physical world has programmed in us that makes us think we're subjected to that. We got to come out of this victim type mentality because we're the most powerful beings of the universe. We do have the power. That's why they give us the definition of nigger as the lowest of the low. And when you look in the dictionary under N-E-G-U-S, you'll see that it's the highest, the king of kings, you see. That it's the sovereign of Ethiopia, you see. Because if you hear that word and you think king of kings, then that's the reality you're going to create. But if you think lowest of the low, then that's the reality you're going to create for yourself also. So that's why they have always programmed us to think that we are victims, because they don't want us to see the power. And we're the spiritual kings, you see. And if we're moving now into a spiritual rotation, you see, guess who's gaining power and guess who's losing power, you see. But we are still caught up in the proverbial material carrot. This is a world of distraction.